Hello, welcome back to Bonsai Druid. I'm Susie, and today I am going to do a summer trim on my Staghorn Sumacs. Okay, this is a cutleaf Staghorn Sumac. I like the taper that I have going on here at the base of the tree, and there's some roots here to kind of help that along. There's a little bit of inverse taper right here, but I believe this and this are dead. So I'm going to do what I can to get, a little bit more flare from this base. But it does taper up as far as this. And then we get this little section here. This top here has some small leaves under it, right here. And then this is their normal size. One leaf with all these leaflets. So what I'm going to do today is I'm going to pinch out the top. I already pinched the top out of this, even it's out of the screen right now, out of frame. But this lower one, I'm going to pinch this top out right here. Show it to you. This right here is like the new little shoot, so I'm going to remove that. Let's see what it looks like. And then these upper leaves, in order to give some shade to these lower leaves and maybe stimulate some other buds to open before the year goes any further, I'm going to trim these back to less leaves real quickly. So each one of these bracts has a bunch of leaves, and I don't know if there's anything to look for. I'm not seeing any kind of little buds forming there. So at this moment, I'm going to do this. Let's see if I can get this up higher. So I've trimmed this one, this one, this one. And I'm just going to keep going a little further here. So this is an interior branch, but right now, just want to get general shape. Oh, look there! This is actually branching. How nice! Let's see, I'll trim this one back. Here. Trim this one back. So I can show on camera. This right here is its own branch. This right here could potentially end up being its own branch. And then this is on the main stem, and then up here is a branch on this side and a branch on this side. So there's quite a lot of action going on up there. What may end up happening, very interesting. So the one that's directly over this branch is smaller. This one here is bigger. The leaves are bigger, so I'm going to trim that one back. So these other to allow these ones that are on their own buds to get strength, I trimmed these up here back a little because they have many more branches, and these ones each only have one each. So I trimmed this one. This is the newest one. I'll let that go. This one over here is pretty strong. It's growing out of the center there. I think I'm gonna cut that one back. Even though it's a lot from that one spot. There. This one's still small. This one. This is its own bract now. Not seeing any kind of like bud formation off of any of these, but since they do seem to, the stems seem to redden as they get older, but I think this is going to become its own separate branch, so I think I'm going to remove this one altogether. Well, I'm going to cut it back to here and let it give it a lot of dieback, because this seems to have an extensive dieback so far. Clean out this. Allow us to see how easy it is to see. There's so many cut leaves it makes it hard to distinguish, but there's actually alternating buds that will probably develop into their own branches in addition to the one that's in the center. So I like that because it means that this whole upper one here, this whole section, I'm not sure I'm even going to keep because, let's see. This trunk going from here up, up, and over this way gets more taper. This side is already nearly as thick as this side, and this tree can go a long way without getting very thick. So it's not like a regular, it's more like a shrub. This may not thicken. I'd be tempted to keep this and trim this here and try to get buds to grow further down, or maybe allow part of this one up here. So this whole upper area, I'm going to let it feed, but I'm going to have to cut it back too. Oops, I'm sorry, you can see that part. This whole area up here, I'm going to leave so it can still feed this tree for the rest of the season, but I am going to trim it back. I would rather that growth be going to some of the buds lower down if it could change its mind and decide to open up some of those. So once again, this leaf's already paled off, and so is this one. They're probably done. Let's see. So this one here, first thing I'm just going to do is now I had already picked the bud out of the top of this a couple of days ago. But I kind of have a feeling, let's see. Just going to make it so it can't. overshade. This whole trunk is still feeding the main trunk. So it allowing that to get thicker is a good thing. But I'm still gonna trim some of this at the top here. That's a crazy one, I guess. I'll leave that one, but this one above it, get trimmed back. This one up here can get trimmed back. And what I'm also going to do is keep nipping the bud out of the tops of this so that it doesn't get any taller this year, maybe. This down here is kind of a branch, so even though it's bumping into this one, I want to leave it, not shade it. Since I already lost these two inner ones. Let's see. This is the back side of the tree, what I would think of as the back side of the tree. The lower trunk that comes up bulges towards the camera right here. This, I don't see any life on it. I don't know if it's alive. This comes up pretty far before it even, none of these buds opened. And then this shorter one over here is the one that I like to go with. But I'm not going to roll this one out yet, and it's still going to feed the tree. So this is where I'm going to leave this. There's some crossed branches in here, but I think I'll take this one. Since it's actually touching something else. I can get it backed up enough. There we go. It's in a pretty deep pond basket. This has really kind of tuberous, fleshy roots, so I wanted to give it plenty of room. Never tried to do this species before, so that's where we're at with this one. I could definitely see it becoming something more like, oh jeez. Something more like this side. We'll have to see what happens, but this is where this one's going to sit now, probably for the rest of the month, other than getting fertilized one last time. I think just one last time. And then I will go get the second one. I'll put some BioGold in here. Bio Gold. These trees have been getting a lot of watering because it has not been raining here like it should be at all. And so the Bio Gold's getting rinsed through them, I think, a little faster than it would normally. This one. Here's what we took off. It's very frondy. Let's see. Let's give you a better bird's eye view of. Now this is the cut leaf version. The wild one, the native one that grows in my yard, the leaves do not have these types of serrations. They're more like a tighter elm-like serration. They're glossier on the upper side. They're definitely way bigger than these. Each individual one of these is bigger. There's more of them on the leaf stalk, and the leaf stalk is longer. But I thought this variety would be nice. It's got a real pale backside. I thought this would be nice to, let's see, like the redness of the stem. I think they'd be nice for a bonsai. I'm going to try. Because this is a plant that I really do like. That's a really nice leaf. And now these are some of the newer growth. Almost look like a centipede. So, I gotta bring in number 2. Okay, we can see from the comparison between these two, they seem to have a similar growth habit. So they like to come up and then branch into like 2 or 3, because in each one of these I've usually cut one out of the crotch. So this one again has one small skinny side, one side that's nearly equal to the size of the trunk. Okay, so here we can see the base. This one is in a tie pot with holes in it that also allow like the roots to be controlled under by allowing air to get in there, make a better. It's supposed to help make a better root ball. So this is the trunk of the tree. It also has a nice shape. It is wider than it is up here. And then it branches off into a fat side that's nearly almost the same size all the way up, just slightly smaller than that. And then this side, which is smaller, it comes up further, then starts getting thicker again, so that could be an issue. And then at the base, there's already some, looks like a sucker or something growing out of the base of there, so I may take that off and use it as a cutting. Try and grow another one. You can also see here the bend. Take this down. You can see the bend in this trunk. It kind of bends out this way a little bit and then comes up. It curves over and then back up again. So it's got some movement if I can get the branches in the right way. This is what I would consider the back side, but that would also depend on, it leans forward, this whole trunk leans towards you. So if the branches were facing differently, it could be the front, but for now it's probably the back. I'm going to do a similar thing that I just did to the other one. I clean out this top area. Cleaning out this top area of little dead bits and branches coverings. They feel so furry and velvety. This one and this one. These were kind of growing back against the wall. So I think that's why the leaves are doing this. I'm not seeing any bugs or anything. Oh, there's a spider right there, but that's a regular spider. Let's see what's over here. Oh, I feel stickiness. Let's see. Oh. Okay, I got the magnifier so I can make sure I'm not seeing anything. That one doesn't feel sticky. That one doesn't feel sticky. I think these leaves might have just been growing this way. Because of the location on the wall. This one's got a couple of marks on it though, but I am going to take that leaf off. Let's see what's there. Can't tell if that might be some scale or not. It's not as raised up as scale usually can be, but this one doesn't feel sticky. No, I don't see anything. So again, this branch here is the thinner one, so that one for sure I want to save and minimize its, size. I don't want it to get thick like this other one, so I am going to clean it up a little bit, let it go for this year, but then next year I'll be watching it closely. Right now I still want this center where I had to make a cut to make sure that that heals and doesn't rot away or anything. So we'll trim the branch that's growing backwards anyways. And maybe bring this one a little shorter. And I'll bring this one a little shorter. And this one a little shorter because I have two little bit lower ones. If I can keep them going, I will. Then the top part up here, let's see. And it's got some leftover from budding debris. Get up into the top of this part. Again, this is like no taper and really straight, so I'm not really wanting to try to save this. Unless it's possible to do an air layer of these, which is something I could experiment with on this side next year. For right now, the topmost branch and cut it back to 2. This one's going right on top of this one. There gets to be a lot going on in the top of these. This back, I would definitely leave a good couple inches, inch or 2 for dieback on these, just from what I've seen mine do in the yard. This one's pretty sturdy. This crossing. This one's crossing. And there's more debris. Still some pretty good budding here at the tops of these. Bring all that back. Take this one out. Take this one out. This one's pretty extensive. Bring that back. Bring this back. So. A lot of growth up here. Let's take this one out. Take this one out. This one's kind of growing straight up, not doing anybody any good there. Hey, I don't know what this will do to these plants, but I'm gonna find out. So there they are. This is the first one we trimmed. This is the second. Definitely similarities in the patterning of growth on these things. They look very similar to what is in my yard as far as like how they structure themselves. This dead stick straight obviously is gonna have to go, but that right there would be a good start on this one. And I'd love to see some lower budding on this one. But I also would like to see some thickening down here. But so if leaving apical growth on the top helps thicken the trunk overall, then that's why I'm going to leave that like that. But this is actually more going to be the actual height of the tree. So that is Staghorn Sumac, cut leaf variety called Tiger Eyes. Took a little bit less off the second one, but it didn't have as much growth. That much. Thanks for joining me. Thanks for staying tuned while I trim these two up. It's summer, so I'm trying to get to anybody that needs work done. And simultaneously trying to stay out of the sweltering heat. So, I get to do this in the air conditioning. Thanks for watching. See you next time.